This is Taking Stock on Bloomberg. I'm Julie Hyman in for Pim Fox. The other big story today, Nasdaq's multi-billion-dollar bid for the New York Stock Exchange. Of course, they weren't alone. Nasdaq and ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, teaming up to offer about $11.3 billion, trying to outmaneuver Deutsche Börse in its attempt to buy up the NYSE. Here to help sort through the details, and there are a lot of them, is Sachin Shah. He's merger arbitrage specialist at Capstone Global Markets. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks,
Good
Julie.
to see you.
Happy Friday again.
Happy Friday, indeed. So, obviously, the new offer that we're hearing about tops in terms of price,
yes,
the Deutsche Börse offer. And in terms of what you saw in the market reaction today, what does that tell you about what might happen next?
Yeah, so what's interesting here, let's just be clear. Earlier, it was a 42, when the offer came out, 42.50 implied. Based on closing prices today, that offer is closer to 42.90. It's actually higher because of Nasdaq appreciating. We'll find out in the next few days, the weeks to come, how this kind of sorts out as far as the implied value. So right now, it's going to be very difficult for NYX board to say no to this and not say it's a superior offer. What's key here is not only understanding the implied value, but what happens with the termination fee, because that's $1.35 essentially, right? So if these guys are going to play right now 42.90 plus this $1.35 termination fee, why would you not say yes to that relative to DB?
Well, unless DB comes in with a higher offer.
Correct.
And do we have a feeling right now whether that's going to happen?
We don't. And I think DB is putting the onus on the NYX board to determine and basically save them and say it's not a superior offer, okay? And that would save them in the context of raising their offer. Ultimately, I believe that if NYX says, board that is, say that it is a superior offer, you could see DB come back in here, because what may transpire with ICE acquiring some of these assets in addition to Nasdaq is not, even though they're going to acquire majority of the assets in the U.S., it's not really an issue for DB in the context of the competitive issue, but they're probably fearing the competitive forces in Europe. And if that's the case, they're going to probably feel the onus to raise their offer.
Now, what about the value for shareholders? Because it's not just an apples-to-apples kind of situation here. You would be breaking up the New York Stock Exchange into parts, with ICE getting part of it.
So
how does that play into...
That's a great point.
If you're an ICE shareholder or NYSE shareholder, what does that mean to you?
Okay, I think this is where the dichotomy lies, okay, Julie, in many respects. The dichotomy lies in the fact that NYX shareholders, this benefits them. Okay, let's be clear here. This benefits them because there are two parties, one consortium of two companies, Nasdaq and ICE, as well as DB. Okay.
So you think they care less about whether it's going to get split up? They care about the dollars and cents.
On the moral issue, U.S.
sort of
social
cultural issue.
It's good that it's going to stay in the U.S. But the problem is that what they're trying to do, it's kind of chop this company. There's no two bits about that, because they're separating the company, to your point, whereas DB is not doing that, okay? They're saying, we're going to own 60%, you're going to own 40%, we're going to keep almost everything the same as it is, and we're going to grow this to be competitive. These guys are saying, no, you know what? We like this, and the reason why we're able to offer you more money, NYS shareholders, is that we're going to chop this up and extract $740 million in synergies.
Sachin, just very quickly here. Traditionally, the Nasdaq and the NYSE have been sort of enemies, competitors.
Yes.
So if Nasdaq succeeds in this, what kind of anti-competitive criticism is it going to get? Regulatory scrutiny?
I mean, I thought the hurdle was pretty high with the DB deal, okay, but I ultimately believe the deal was going to be completed. In this situation, I heard complimentary. We've talked to the regulators. We believe this deal is going to go through. I think that they're overstating the fact that this is a really uphill battle for them to get this approved, regardless of how they separate the two companies.
Well, it seems like we're still early in the whole situation.
Yes.
Thank you so
Julie.
much for coming in to talk about it. Sachin Shah of Capstone Global Markets. Appreciate it.